In the village of Upper Tean in Staffordshire lies a hidden graveyard, almost forgotten about by everyone other than a few locals. Despite its quiet presence, the graveyard holds layers of historical significance tied to the local community and the broader history of religious nonconformity in England. In the late 18th century, Tean was a village with very little religious infrastructure. The nearest church was in Checkley, a few miles away, and local religious activity was sparse. Into this context came the independent or congregational movement, which sought to create spaces for worship outside the framework of the Church of England. The movement began in Tean in 1772, when Thomas Phillips preached in Hall Yard, a central open space in the village. These meetings were bold attempts to engage people who might not attend traditional services, and by 1798, as interest grew, services shifted to the home of John Hobvabin, providing a more consistent and protected space for worship. Congregational churches emphasised the independence of each congregation. This democratic approach to worship and governance appealed to communities like Tean, where people sought spiritual practices aligned with their needs rather than those dictated by the established church. The growth of the congregation led to the establishment of a dedicated building. Providence Independent Chapel was constructed on New Road, Upper Tean, and was officially opened on the 23rd of September 1822. The opening ceremony was conducted by Reverend T. McCall and Reverend Farmer from Shelton, both prominent figures in the local nonconformist community. This new space symbolised more than just a place for worship. It became a hub for community gatherings, education and charitable activities. Over the years, the chapel adapted to meet the needs of its members, including adding a gallery in 1823 to accommodate the growing congregation. By 1834, the congregation recognised the need for a dedicated burial ground. They purchased land opposite the chapel to create the Providence Independent Churchyard, ensuring that the members had a place for dignified burials. Graves were sold for 10 shillings each, a cost that helped them manage the upkeep of the grounds. The graveyard became a quiet landmark in Tean, serving as a final resting place for many members of the congregation and their families. Today, it's a physical reminder of the community's connection to the chapel. For many years, Providence Independent Chapel played a significant role in village life. Beyond religious services, the chapel was a venue for social gatherings, education, and mutual aid. Like other nonconformist institutions, it fostered a sense of community in areas where industrialisation and urbanisation often disrupted traditional social structures. The chapel's location in Tean is particularly significant. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Staffordshire was a hub of industrial activity, and workers in this growing industrial landscape often found solace in nonconformist churches, which emphasised personal faith, community, and social justice. By the mid-20th century, the chapel faced challenges common to many nonconformist churches. Declining attendance, societal changes, and shifts in religious practices led to its eventual closure. On the 30th of March 1987, Providence Independent Chapel held its final service. The building was later sold and converted into residential homes, and while its use has changed, the chapel's structure remains a visual link to Tean's past. Providence Independent Chapel and its graveyard are part of a larger story of religious dissent in England. The congregational movement, which later became part of the United Reformed Church, was one of many groups that challenged the dominance of the Church of England. These nonconformist groups were known for their emphasis on local control, societal justice, and inclusivity. In areas like Staffordshire, where industrialisation created new social dynamics, nonconformist chapels provided spaces for workers and families to come together for worship and mutual support, and they often played critical roles in education, charity, and reform movements. Today, the Providence Independent Churchyard remains a quiet and often overlooked part of Tean. And though the chapel has been repurposed into homes, the graveyard continues to serve as a historical marker. It's a place to go and visit, to reflect on the lives of those who shaped Tean's history, It's a resource for historians and genealogists, offering connections to the past through its preserved gravestones and archival records. The churchyard is located at New Road, Upper Tean, and it is accessible for those wishing to explore this historical site. And while no longer actively maintained by a congregation, it remains an important part of Tean's landscape. Its history offers a fascinating glimpse into the village's past, from its beginnings as a bold experiment in nonconformist worship to its role as a community hub. The chapel and its graveyard continue to tell the story of a community shaped by faith, resilience, and change. If you love local history and you would like to find out more about your local area, then check out my website, which is theredhairedstokey.co.uk.